Heloise, dost thou think my lectures are too long?
Too long? Nay, Peter. If thy words could be written in the stars, I would still find them too brief.
Spoken like a true philosopher's muse. But if only the scholars knew the true reason thou attendest my lessons.
If they knew, they'd speak of nothing else but our love, Peter.
Our love, it defies both reason and the rules of the world we live in.
Then perhaps we should pen a treatise on forbidden love. Thou dost know a thing or two about breaking rules.
Haha, I fear our love would cause as much trouble on parchment as it does in life.
Let them talk, Peter. No philosophy is as sweet as our love, no lecture as profound.
Ah, Heloise, thou dost make even logic falter with thy charm.
This is the story of Peter Abelard and Heloise, a love that defied the rules of medieval society. Abelard, one of the greatest philosophers of his time, and Heloise, a brilliant young student, shared a passion for both knowledge and each other. But in a world where love was often bound by tradition and duty, their romance became one of the most scandalous and tragic stories of the Middle Ages. Let's dive into their tale of forbidden love, intellectual brilliance, and the devastating consequences they faced. Our story begins in Paris in the early 12th century. Peter Abelard was one of the most renowned philosophers and theologians of his time, known for his sharp intellect and rebellious ideas. Heloise, on the other hand, was equally brilliant, one of the most educated women of her time, known for her knowledge of languages and philosophy. When Abelard became Heloise's tutor, it wasn't long before their intellectual connection turned into something much deeper. Their love was fueled not only by passion, but by a shared admiration for each other's minds. But there was one problem. Their love was forbidden. Heloise's uncle, Fulbert, had entrusted Abelard to tutor her, never suspecting that their relationship would become romantic. The two lovers began a secret affair, meeting in hidden corners, writing letters filled with passion, and defying the conventions of their time. Love can deny nothing to love, Abelard would later write. Their affair was filled with the thrill of secrecy, but also the constant fear of discovery. And discovered they were. When Heloise became pregnant, their secret could no longer be kept. To avoid disgrace, Abelard whisked Heloise away to his family's home, where she gave birth to their son, Astrolabe. In an attempt to preserve their honor, Abelard proposed marriage, but Heloise, always the intellectual, argued against it. She believed that marriage would ruin Abelard's career and trap them in a conventional life. "I preferred love to wedlock, freedom to chains," she later wrote. Despite her protests, Abelard and Heloise married in secret, but the consequences of their love affair would soon turn tragic. Heloise's uncle, Fulbert, enraged by the scandal, sought revenge. In a brutal and infamous act, Fulbert had Abelard castrated while he slept, destroying both his body and his career. Abelard, now humiliated and broken, withdrew from public life and became a monk, while Heloise, under his direction, entered a convent where she would spend the rest of her life as a nun. Separated by fate but united by love, Abelard and Heloise continued to write to one another over the years. Their letters, filled with longing, regret, and philosophical musings, are still read today as some of the most famous love letters of all time. In them, Heloise expressed her undying love for Abelard, while Abelard, though tortured by guilt, continued to admire her intellect. Their love endured despite the distance, despite the tragedy. "I am yours, and you are mine, in this life and the next," Heloise wrote in one of her most famous letters. The love story of Abelard and Heloise is more than just a tale of romance. It's a story of passion, intellect, and the cost of defying societal expectations. Though they were separated for the rest of their lives, their letters immortalized their love, giving us a window into one of the most intense and tragic relationships of the medieval world. Their story reminds us that love, in all its forms, can transcend even the harshest realities of life. The tragic love of Peter Abelard and Heloise stands as one of history's most heartbreaking stories. Their passion, intellect, and defiance left a legacy that still fascinates us today. If you enjoyed this tale of forbidden love, be sure to subscribe for more stories of passion, power, and history's greatest romances. Let me know in the comments what other tales you'd like to hear next, and I'll see you in the next video.